E, Councillor Ash.
This is in regards to Mr. Ekmar's presentation. I have a question through you, Mr. Chair, to Mr. Clapp. And I can read the recommendation and concur with it, but I'm wondering if Mr. Clapp could speak to what rules or policies he feels that should be waived, and he's recommended in there. I just want it to be matter of public record. And second of all, after hearing Mr. Ekmar's presentation and delegation to us, is he still comfortable with the recommendation and the reasonableness of his conclusion? And I don't usually ask him about his feelings. I'm much more comfortable about asking about fact, but I'll give him that opportunity.
Commissioner?
Well, first of all, where you're going above and beyond the policy is by effectively canceling the balance of the frontage charge. That isn't, that's certainly not normally council policy. And on that basis, certainly that was my offer to Mr. Ekmeyer from basically from day one. I thought, and you've heard me say it here and probably at council, that due to the situation, any money's owing to us, any money's owing to him, it becomes a wash, and effectively we start all over again. And that's how I've conveyed it. I believe it to be very reasonable. When I look at some of the other customers that either have big billings or were in this situation in the past, they've been customers in this situation. And we didn't waive council didn't waive any frontage charges. So I think it is a very good deal.
Thank you for that. Just a follow-up question. Point 4.2 speaks to that the report has been reviewed by the legal department. Could you speak to what legal position why that would be, and have you had any conversation with our legal department regarding any remedies that the delegate could get to as proposed by Regional Chair Anderson?
Well, I think the discussions with legal and Jason can add, but I think it was really, again, is this something that can be done, is reasonable? But I don't believe we've raised with legal Mr. Ekmeyer's remedies, to the best of my knowledge. But Jason, I don't know whether you wanted to comment or not.
I'm not going to comment too much in open session, but Mr. Clapp and I did have several conversations about the proposal that you have in front of you.
And this is the waiving of policy. I think if you're going to talk to the other side, it would have to be in camera.
It was really to follow up on Regional Chair Anderson's submission, which I concur with. I think the remedy is not this body or the body that meets upstairs. So,
Right.
thank you. So that was my issue.
Yeah, Chair Anderson.
I'm going to support the recommendation of Mr. Clapp, by the way, but I say this to Mr. Ekmeyer in all due respect. As a former real estate broker, somebody who knows a little bit about real estate and the Toronto Real Estate Board and OREA in Korea and RICO, where every real estate agent is terrified of. A complaint to the Toronto Real Estate Board or RICO in regards to that listing, or a phone call to RE/MAX All-Stars, should resolve his problem fairly quickly. Because I can tell you that RE/MAX or any broker would not want that sent downtown. They're going to find the real estate agent guilty. They're going to find his agent guilty, and there will be some remedies applied It's that simple. It's that simple. And I say that to the gentleman in all due respect. If he doesn't want to follow that, so be it. Now, if we proceed with this, his remedy to those real estate agents might be something else, but I'm going to certainly support the recommendation of staff. I think Mr. Clapp has gone farther than he would have gone in any other case. And I don't think anyone has been around this table as long as Councillor Diamond and I have, but I don't ever remember Mr. Clapp going this far on one of these cases. So, no disrespect to Mr. Clapp, but I appreciate the fact that he did, because it is unique. And I give Mr. Eckmeyer full marks for following through on this, but there are other remedies available to that gentleman, and I would hope he would take it.
I think Mr. Clapp's taken your lead, kind of gentler this year. Is that what happened with the money? Councillor Neal.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chair. I guess, again, not being on the committee, but I don't understand why the region would personally feel it's fair for the region to retain the sewage charges billed prior to 2009. So, like, he was probably paying, again, he was paying sewage when there was nothing going in the region system, right? So, personally, I think it would be a fair resolution to say, okay, we won't charge you any sewage bills, we'll refund all those, but you pay for the connection, because why should we offer a free connection? That makes no sense to me at all. But I have some sympathy for giving him back all the, I don't know, $3,200 that he paid in sewer payments to Durham Region. Well, not including any interest, to be honest with you. But so if it comes to council and it's polled, I would support having him pay $3,000 or something like that. So, like, I think there's an issue there where, and I think Councillor Parrish, or Mayor Parrish, was alluding to this, there's something called unjust enrichment, okay? Which is, I think, going on here. Like, in other words, the region has been receiving payments for no consideration. The homeowner, whoever it was, Mr. Eckmeyer, after 2003, was receiving nothing, but he was paying for it, okay? So I have full sympathy with that. I have no sympathy with, oh, here's a free connection. No, I don't agree with that at all. So,
But in essence, Councillor Neal, by writing off the difference of this, that's more than, the policy is going back 6 years, because that's what we retain our records, which is $1,590. He's suggesting $3,237. We're writing off the difference between the $1,590 if this passes and the $3,500, which is in essence $350 more than the 12 years that he paid to us.
but Mr. Chair, I don't understand the policy being limited to 6 years. It's fairly obvious he's been paying since '03 and no connection, right?
And how much? There's no records. So,
Well, you could figure that out, though.
Just to be clear, this more than covers, that's the whole point. Mr. Eckmeyer took ownership in 2003. This is more than what he paid us in sewer charges.
Oh, okay. No, I was wondering about his number here.
So effectively,
It's more?
he's getting
So where's
more.
that?
Well, it's on my side. It's on an attachment, I believe.
but just figure this out, okay? So,
I was going by his number, that's all.
yeah, but his
His
number,
number's grossed up.
his number less the decommissioning of the septic tank is $3,237.86.
I don't want
For
to
the 12
belabor it, I
years.
just,
No. And with this write-off, we're giving him $3,588. Right? So that's $350 more than the 12 years worth of, that he wants to claim.
sorry, I thought I saw it was $1,900.
Yes, but it's the difference, 1,900 plus the 1,590 that we would return to him for the 6 years worth of sewers. Right? But in total, it would
I'm
be.
more confused now than ever.
Well, we'll talk afterwards. I can explain it to you, Joe.
So, thanks, Mr. Chair. I need those explanations, but has he been billed the sewer connection charge now?
Yes,
Did he pay that?
not yet.
Hasn't paid that. Well, okay, so you guys work it out, but I think you know where I would go on that.
Yeah.
Whatever he wrongfully paid should go back to him.
But
And no more.
Hold on, your suggestion though is that we pay him back what he was wrongfully billed, and we charge him the $3,500. This thing here sort of evens that out in one report. It's the same.
That's why we have a finance.
Yeah, it's the same, instead of us giving him the money and him giving it to us back, and he makes out $350 to the good based on that. Okay, somebody else over here have their hand up? Okay, Councillor Wu?
Yeah, just going along the same lines as Councillor Neal. So, Mr. Eckmeyer has provided us with some billing right from 1974. Now, when did the region take over water and sewer?
Well, just to be clear, Mr. Eckmeyer started or owned the house effective 2003, not 1974. So we started billing for sewer in 1975.
Okay. Now, with some of these amounts that he's put down here, I don't know where the numbers came from, but are they verifiable? Are these?
No,
Charges?
the records only go back 6 years. So, as we said the last meeting, there's no indication of if and when the error occurred, I suppose.
Right.
We don't know when it would have occurred.
But we just know that there was no sanitary sewer hookup.
The works folks dye tested the system, and he was not hooked up to the sewer, and we were billing him from the date he moved in, which was 2003, to date.
But,
He's getting all that back.
right. Now, would you know if that would go to the previous owner when he bought? Because, you know, and I know the line is that we should go back to the realty company, but back in 97, and there's a listing here, and that one involved Frank Real Estate and Colwell Bankers. That's 97. It also says sewers.
Yeah.
So it was.
Maybe I can interrupt you, Councillor Wu. What we're dealing with is Mr. Eckmeyer's complaint here, not the previous three owners. Uxbridge hooked up the sewers. Uxbridge transferred the records to the region. So Uxbridge told the region that this house is on sewer, right? And the region took over the billing.
Right.
So if you really want to go back in history, then somebody should go back and touch up the township of Uxbridge for their mistake.
Yeah. Right?
But what we're dealing with now is Mr. Eckmeyer's complaint, not the previous owners and not anything back prior to that. It's what he wants.
Yeah. Well, and that's part and parcel of I can't see how it can happen, how somebody could go that length of time without having to have it, your holding tank cleaned out. That's a long time.
I don't disagree with you, Councillor Wu, but I still believe in Santa Claus. So,
Well, I would imagine the grass was green around that holding tank. But thank you.
any other questions? So on the motion in the report, all in favor? Opposed? That's carried.